Hello everyone. I get a lot of questions about how I store my images, and I have answered that question in many different ways because I keep changing the way that I store my images. Not every way works for me or for other people, and it is really one of those. You have to try things out to find something that works for you. So when I started saving images, I started saving images in plastic sleeves. I had them in a binder like this one, but I like these portfolios as well. I save some of my larger images so that I can just slip them in, and they keep straight and I can see them. This takes a lot of space, and you can't have a ton of images and still see them all. So this didn't work for very long for me, but I still have a few of these working, I guess. I still have a few images inside. So I can kind of put together, these are kind of images that I want to put together in a page eventually, and so the pieces of that collage are all put together so that when I get to them, it's all here. So I used to do this mostly, and then I got overrun by the amount of images that I was saving. So I had to go to something else. My next thing was putting stuff in a shoebox. Of course, they have to be no bigger than the shoebox, so they're not getting all bent up and stuff. But as I would just put things in the shoebox as I gathered it, and when I was looking for images, I would leaf through the shoebox. I would end up bending the images, things would get folded, things were getting mutilated. I still have 2 shoeboxes that I use. I'm trying to empty out. I'm still trying to sort them out. I don't recommend the shoebox, but it does hold a lot of images. So some of my images were a little bit bigger than a shoebox size, so I also would use these, I think they're magazine holders. They're kind of shallow. They hold a lot of pages of magazines. This one, I have them stacked on top of each other. They get heavy and they start breaking. I have 2 or 3 of these filled with the whole pages of images. One of these is completely filled up with just faces. You know, I like to do things with faces, so I have all of them, or a lot of faces, in one of these. Again, when I'm flipping through them trying to find images to use, they get bent, they get folded, they get crinkled, and it's not the best way to hold images. It's the only way I know of to hold a lot of images. Okay, so that wasn't really working for me really well. So I went to putting images in one of these. It's a huge, what do you call this, an accordion file folder. I would put single pages, and I still have some of these I haven't sorted out yet. I would put piles of pages. See if I can get some of the piles out. You can see them. You can see them. Piles of pages I would put in no particular order. I guess you could sort them out with the tabs if you knew what you were sorting them out as. This got to be really heavy. I had this filled at one point, and it had to have been 20 pounds. It was really heavy. I couldn't see the images. I didn't know what was in here. It really does not work for me, and when I empty this thing out, I will probably not have it anymore. I'll probably find another home for it. It doesn't work for me. I was hoping that it would work for me, and I started going to the file box. It's a huge file box. You see, I found this at Walmart. It's got the hanging folders in it, and I still use this one quite a bit. I have the folders, and I have inside the folders different things: large images, printed out images, family pictures. I can label the folders so I can kind of find things, but still, it's kind of a pain to flip through things and try to find images. I don't love it, but I have so much stuff that I have to keep it, so I have some place to put some of these things. I have tried the folders, the folder pockets for stuff. Again, you can't see what's inside each thing, and it's really hard to find what you're looking for. You've got something in your head. I know I've got this one image. I don't know where I put it. It drives me crazy. So that wasn't working for me, but I have so much stuff that I have to continue using that because I don't have any place else to put stuff. All right. So from there, I went to, I also put things, this is my color bits for my color texture glue book. I was trying to sort out colors by the color so that I could start putting some combinations together and things. And I thought it would be easiest to put some different colors of cardstock into the pockets, the page protectors, and to match up the color of the magazine image or whatever I had to that cardstock. This has ended up to be a very tedious, not quite as easy as I thought kind of thing to do. And I found that it took more time to sort out the images than I was saving by finding, what colors I was looking for after they were sorted. So once I get the color glue book finished, I will be dismantling this, and I probably will use it for something else because it's just too difficult to keep this up. It's too difficult to sort through everything. Too much time to take. It takes too much time to sort everything in this way. So, but this might work for somebody else. I am just putting out there some of the things that I have tried, some of the things that I do. Not everything works real well for me, but it might work for somebody else. So I'm just going to put all these ideas that I have tried out there so you can decide what might work for you. So I think I got this presentation book at the Dollar Tree. I've not seen them since. I got a couple of them. When I am going to do a page, I will collect images for the page. And I like to do that in the daylight. I like to see the true colors of the images that I'm selecting. So I collect my images during the day, and then I can glue those collections together at night when I don't have to really worry about is that the right color or not. And what I will do is I'll gather the images for a single page, and I will put them in one of these page protectors, and then I know all this stuff can go on a single page, and they'll all work together. And I don't have to worry about it being daylight or it not being daylight. So that's another way I kind of keep images for the time being. I don't like to store them this way for very long. If I plan on doing this tonight, I will do a couple of pages of images so that I have enough to work on after the sun sets. But I tend to lose images more this way. If I don't get the page done, then I can't figure out what I've done with that image. I've got so many glue books going at one time that if I sort out images for a certain glue book and another glue book comes along and that image that I have in my head might work for this one as well, I have a hard time finding stuff a lot of times. So that is, it can be a problem. So what I have done lately, I'm trying to figure out if I've shown everything. No, I haven't. Another thing that I have tried to do for the smaller images is I have a couple of these. I have a smaller one that I had for quite a few years, and I just loved it. And when I saw these at Hobby Lobby at Thanksgiving, a little bit bigger, I love these. I love these for smaller images. Here's my miniature glue book signatures. Haven't started that one yet, but I'm gathering images that would fit into those signatures. So I am gathering together the images, and I like that it's kind of spaced out so I can kind of sort through the images and see what's there, and they're all together in the small images are all together where they can be seen. Small images are hard to store, and I like this one because I can close this up and open the next layer and have other images for storage that might not have a use right at this very moment, but they're small enough I don't want to get them lost in something else. So I love these little containers for that for the smaller images. For my itsy bitsy little tiny images that I really, really love, I thought this was it, but it's not. I can show this. These are little tiny tins that I have gotten, and these are little tiny words. I have probably 10 of these tins, and I have them situated usually around me so that when I find a little tiny image, I can pop it into one of these little tins. And all the little tiny images, the logos and things like that, are easier to find. And they're not getting lost in the bigger images. So I do put the little tiny, itsy bitsy, detailed kinds of things in these little tiny boxes. And I will keep these, usually I keep the majority of them together so I can see them, and I have no idea where they are right now. So what I have been doing lately is I use baskets, and this is working pretty well for me. I get all kinds of baskets at the Dollar Tree, different sizes. The larger one I just found at the Dollar Tree not too long ago, last week I think, and I love it that it is big enough for a full-size magazine page. I don't have to worry about the edges getting mangled at all, and I like this size too. This one almost holds a magazine without getting the edges, without touching the edges. But what I like about the baskets, and I have different projects in these baskets, what I like about the baskets is, here, let me move this out of the way. I can store my projects or images in the baskets. And this is my work. These are my work baskets. You can see that they're all stacked up. They fit nicely in each other. And what these are my working baskets. They're not necessarily images that I have planned for anything. They're just here for me to grab in case I need something. I keep a little bit of fish bits in this one, book pages, security envelope patterns, some tissue paper, scrapbook paper, painted papers, and some embossed images. And I can keep stuff in the baskets and stack them on top of each other to save space. This really helps me a lot, as I do not have a lot of space for all my projects and all my stuff. So what I usually do is I will have a basket, and I've got many of these big baskets, many, more than 10 probably of each size. So this is my junk journal signatures in this one, and I keep those together with some of the images that I want to glue into these signatures. Now again, I lose the images if I don't use them right away. I lose them. I remember that I've got this certain image and I'm looking for it and I can't find it anywhere, because it could be with any one of my ongoing projects. So I'm trying to get into the habit of putting all my larger images in one place, my medium images in one basket, and my smaller images, like this, in another basket, and keeping those together. So when I am in the process of making a page, I start with a large image, go to medium images on top of that, and then the details and small little bits and pieces I put on top of all that for the little details. So it helps that I have my images sorted by size, not necessarily by what they are. Of course, I've got to keep the colors separate so that I can find colors when I'm looking for colors. So it's really rough to store images. And I understand the dilemma, and I understand it's rough. It is really rough. So recently also, I have gone to, let's see if I can get this over here. I put projects in a bag, and so this is my Scavenger Hunt glue book. You guys have seen this before. It's got the pages that have themes. Okay, each page is a certain something, a collection of waterfalls, tickets, elephants, crayon wrappers, all that stuff. Okay, so when I am collecting a certain theme of something, I have found that these clear envelopes that I got at Office Depot work really well. I can see what's in the envelopes, and I can collect things that I want to use. Sorry about that. I don't have a very big space here. So I have all my categories in different envelopes, so everything is sorted out. When I'm ready to glue things down, I've got things sorted out so I can grab stuff and start gluing. This is working pretty well for me. I've got this going in a couple of different glue books that I am working on. I like to be able to see the images and like I said, it's kind of working for me, but I can't have too many projects going at one time. And that's my major issue, is I have too many projects going. I need to finish a few so that the images can go back in a big standing pile for everything, and I can select images as I do one page or 2 pages, put those images back, and go through the images again for the next project, the next page. It's hard to do when you're doing the Scavenger Hunt book. You want everything all separated. So another thing that I do is I make my handmade envelopes, and these envelopes, and actually some baggies. I don't like the baggies so much. They tend to sag and my images start getting folded up, but I make these envelopes. I label the envelopes, and as I am harvesting a magazine or finding images, I have all the envelopes in a box so that I can flip through the envelopes fairly easily and see what I have going here, and I can slip the images into the right categories. Eyes and frogs and ships and boats and flowers and transportation and cats and dogs. Each envelope has different items in it that I am saving for something special. Okay, this works pretty well for me for smaller images. It doesn't work for the larger images, but it really does work for smaller bits. So this is my alphabet glue book, and I've got one letter for every alphabet, and I can put the images that I have found in, and I've used most of them, so I can find the images and the words that I have found and put them in the appropriate envelope, and I can find them, and everything's all together when I am ready to do that project. I like being able to flip through them. I have them rested in a box. I like being able to flip through them to find things pretty easily. So that works for me for certain projects. I have things in cigar boxes. I've got fonts. I've got words in cigar boxes. I've got little projects everywhere. This project is a collage book that I have not finished yet. I've got some images in here ready to be glued in, some little bits and pieces, and it is just the packaging for some kind of cookies or brownies or something. I usually try to use the baskets, but I have so many projects going that I've had to resort to anything that I can find. So I have quite a few of these too. Here's my Gobstopper book, and it has the words in there. I've got a cigar box full of words. I've got another little plastic container full of words, so when I come across words that I want to save, I put them in the plastic container, trim them down, I put them in here, and then I can glue them right away. So I've got these containers everywhere. Here's another glue book with some smaller images, and I've got the signatures here so that everything is all together. I can just grab it and start working. But again, I lose images when I do this, when I've pre-sorted. And I will grab images one day and think those are perfect images for this glue book. And then I'll go back the next time and those images just aren't speaking to me anymore. So I'm really trying to get in the habit of selecting the images that I want to use for that day or for that project for that page smaller little bits, get those pages done, and put those images that are left over back into the master storage place, whatever that would be. And like I said, a lot of this has not worked for me. Some of it is working for me. I am just putting out suggestions so that maybe something that didn't work for me might work for you. Maybe you can figure out a way to make it work for you. I also have the drawers, the plastic organizing drawers. I have a bunch of them. I have 4 of them, the 5-drawer containers. I keep my fish bits in there, and I keep them sorted out so that all my tickets are together, all my candy wrappers are together, all this stuff, so I can grab stuff as I need that. So I've got those drawers as well. I've got suitcases full of stuff. I've got shoe boxes full of stuff. I've got plastic containers everywhere. I have way too many images, and I am trying to use stuff up. So I don't know how helpful that was. I hope I've given you a few ideas. I really like the basket thing. It really works for me. It really saves a bunch of space. I can put large images in one basket, medium images in a smaller basket, and put it on top, and everything's together, and it's not taking up a ton of space like some of the file folders and stuff like that. I think that's it. I think that's it. I think that's all I have to say. I am sorry. I wish there was a remedy for all kinds of storage. You just have to keep trying things until something works for you. Okay? Thanks for watching.